The Little Bear Who Feared Winter Sleep. The First Snow. One crisp morning, a little bear named Bruno woke up to a strange feeling. Everything around him was white. He ran out of his den and saw snowflakes twirling in the air, covering the ground like a fluffy blanket. "Snow!" he cheered and tumbled into the soft powder. Bruno played in the snow, rolling, jumping, and even trying to build a snow creature. Nearby, young deer dashed through the frosty meadow, their hooves leaving tiny trails behind them. But when Bruno returned home, Papa Bear said, "It's time to get ready for hibernation. We'll be sleeping until spring." Bruno froze. Sleeping? For the whole winter? That meant missing out on all the fun. Running away. That evening, while his parents were snuggled up in their warm den, Bruno quietly sneaked outside. "I don't want to sleep. I want to see what winter is really like," he whispered and trotted into the snowy forest. At first, it was magical. He saw a red fox named Finn pouncing through the snowdrifts, leaving playful marks behind, and an otter named Mira gliding effortlessly across a frozen pond like a real ice skater. "Why aren't you hibernating?" Mira asked, spinning on the ice. "Because I don't want to miss anything," Bruno replied excitedly. "Well, if you're sure," Mira winked and slid away. Bruno smiled. Winter was amazing. He had no idea what was coming next. The blizzard. The next day, the sky turned dark. A strong wind howled through the trees and heavy snow began to fall. Bruno shivered. He tried to find his new friends, but they had all disappeared. Fox Finn was safe in his cozy burrow, and Otter Mira had vanished under the frozen river. "I need to find shelter," Bruno murmured, curling up beneath a large tree, but the wind howled louder and his paws felt colder by the minute. The way home. Just as Bruno was about to drift into an icy sleep, he heard a calm, steady voice. "Little bear, winter is not for you to stay awake. You need to be strong for spring," said a wise old moose named Nora, standing tall beside him. Her massive antlers were dusted with snow, and her deep brown eyes were full of kindness. "If you don't go back home, this winter will be too harsh for you," she said gently. Bruno lifted his head. He knew she was right. Taking a deep breath, he stood up and trudged back through the snow. His paws were frozen, his fur was wet, but finally he saw the familiar hillside and the entrance to his den. Inside, his mom and papa were still asleep. He curled up next to them, feeling the warmth of his family around him. "You're home now, little one," Mama Bear murmured in her sleep, pulling him closer. Bruno sighed in relief. He felt warm, safe, and very sleepy. Spring awakens. Months passed. One morning, the golden sun shone brighter than before. Bruno stretched, yawned, and opened his eyes. "Spring!" he cheered, rushing outside. The snow was melting and the forest was waking up. The deer pranced in the meadow, Otter Mira was splashing in the river, and high on the hill stood Moose Nora, watching over the woods. "Did you sleep well, little bear?" she asked with a knowing smile. Bruno grinned. He hadn't missed anything at all. The most important thing was waking up strong and ready for new adventures. Thank you for being with me. Subscribe and see you in the next tale.